can wait online for it.
Okay, we're going to call this meeting to order. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Carly, if you can call the roll, please.
Neidinger.
Here.
McAleese.
Here.
Thompson. Here. Reed.
Here.
Penny.
Here. All right, well, we have the budget.
Oh, boy.
We are ready to talk about the budget. She's not running up here.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
We're gonna start with CID so that Terry can get going to her training.
Okay, gotta get her
Before
trained.
we start, I'd like to say thank you for the way you presented this. Even I can understand.
Good. I'm glad you like the
Very
format.
nice.
Good morning, everybody.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
You had to take a breath there, huh?
She's busy, that's for sure. So what I did, the way that we've gotten to this point, I sent out like the first two columns, the actuals from last year, the budget for the year that we're currently in, and then I left the proposed budget column blank for the department heads. And they filled in their operating expenses. And then we tried to add as many comments as possible so that we're all on the same page of what makes up those account balances. So if you go to, page 6, is the Community Improvement Department. Before we start, I have to say that there's a lot of things in this budget that are gonna change by the time we get done with this budget process. I don't have a lot of information that I'm gonna need, like health insurance, liability insurance. There's quite a few things, and I've tried to mark them as we go through. But the operating expenses, I think, are pretty well nailed down. So if Terry wants to start on hers.
So I guess the main thing that I've had to add this year, I forgot my sheet, the main thing I had to add this year was a consultant service for this new House Bill 803, which says I have to change all of my permit fees. So I've been in consultation with 3 different companies. So Tyler is one of them, because one of the things we have to do is change the software, because all of our software for all of our permitting is based on 2% of the cost of the job, which is how our permit fees are currently read. They now say that we have to do it based on the actual cost for the city for inspections. So we have to change that dynamic in the software, which means every permit that we touch is currently routed to run the 2%, that it has to be changed.
Does this only affect, does this affect other groups like yours in Pinellas County?
The entire state.
The entire state, so are they're not gonna charge us to change the software? Aren't
They are charging us to change
they?
our
Are.
software.
So even though everybody else has to have it, that has Tyler.
So they are working on,
Whatever something there.
they're working on doing some things in the system that'll make it easier to meet the House bill, but everybody sets up their software based on their procedures. So it's changing our process.
That's how they stay in business.
Well,
That's how they stay in business.
It's basically the legislature that rails against
Updates.
us, calls us irresponsible spending, has enacted legislation that causes us to triple our spending.
Yep.
I mean, I wanted that
It's
on
an
the record.
unfunded mandate.
Yep.
I mean,
So it's typical what goes on.
Yep.
It's mad.
So, in addition to the consulting fees, which I've gotten 3 proposals, and it's not it's what Chief just gave me.
Well, so, yeah, so the legislation came down that we're not allowed to charge permit fees based on the value of the project anymore. That's effective for everybody in the state. So what Terry is having to do, well, the city and Terry's department is having to do is, first of all, we have to determine what is the cost to run her department, which we know how much our expenses are. But to break that down by each permit that they have issued, so that we'll be able to say, for this kind of permit, we need to charge you this amount. So the first step is we need to do a fee analysis. Somebody's got to come in and say, if you were to issue this many of this kind of permits, that's where your break even is. So that's the first step, is for somebody to come in and tell us, how much are we supposed to be charging for all these activities? And then the second step that she's gotten the quotes for is, once someone has determined how much all the fees should be, we have to modify our software to accommodate that change. Initially,
Sounds simple, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And by the way, it's gotta be done by
Yeah.
July 1.
Yeah.
Oh, July 1.
like
wow.
as in next
Wow.
month, as in next month, July 1.
So we wanted to make sure that, and I don't know what the ramifications of that are currently. There are a lot of things in that bill that say that if you aren't doing things a certain way, that you have to give the free permit. I don't know that that's part of this part. It's not spelled out specifically, so I'm hoping.
Put those guys out.
Okay,
I want that on record.
yes. So so we wanted to make sure, we've got the software company. I've been talking to our representative of Tyler. He actually came to the Building Officials Association conference and spent time in all the classes talking about all the issues. And so he's actually working his end of it to try and update their software as much as they can. But as far as the processes go, I've gotten 3 quotes for that part, and they come in, well, 2 of them are right around 50,000, and the third one is 70. So, and Tyler is the third one, so we're gonna just say no to them. But between the other 2, one has timelines in it that the other one doesn't, and one, so I'm vetting between those 2 but they're the same price, basically. I have not gotten prices on the fee analysis yet. I have spoken to City of Tampa and Hillsborough County. Both currently have already changed their fee schedules, and they gave me their documents. I have it in that's my nighttime reading while I'm at my conference this week. So they gave me their fee analysis as well as their fee structure. So I'm gonna look at that and see, but we need to figure out how Tyler can do it in their software before we can do the fee analysis to figure out how we're gonna change our ordinance. And then it'll have to be a public hearing for the ordinance change. So it will never be done by July 1. Not a physical possibility.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you guys aren't here for a big portion of July. So it will definitely be later in the summer before we get too far along, but,
I mean, if we need, we would schedule a meeting. If we absolutely
Right.
have to, I mean, it happens
But-
where
No,
we
they're
call
not
you guys and ask
realistic
you guys
about
to come back.
anything.
yeah, so the initial bill was December, is how they had it in there, that by December you were gonna do it, and I was kinda like, okay, but they signed it May 6th, and then it's gotta be done by July 1, so I'm like, that's not physically possible. So that's the big uptick, I think, in my part. Everything else is pretty status quo.
Yeah, I want to go back to the, excuse me, the bids you've got to do this.
Yes,
We bought the software from Tyler,
correct.
very expensive if I remember, and then had to pay more to get it to work the way it was supposed to work when we initially agreed to buy it. And now they want to be the most expensive one to update their software to comply with the state?
So they are gonna do some changes to their software that we will not have to pay for, because it's state of Florida requirements. But as far as, when you set up the program, you set it up based on the way your product, the way you produce your permits. So each municipality sets theirs up differently. We tried to do it as out of the box as possible, but because everything's embedded in the way we charge our fees,
Right, but wouldn't it make sense for Tyler to do work on Tyler software as opposed to hiring a consultant? I mean, not saying that their price, but is there any negotiating that we can do with them to get them more in line? I mean, it's kind of, at least they can do is put on the mask and break out the gun.
unfortunately, the last time we used them, it ended up costing more than what we originally contracted for, because we then had to pay them more to do other things. So I don't know that I want to use them. I've met with
Okay.
both Art Consulting and GSD. They have both been at conferences. They are a company that Tyler works with regularly and has said
Okay.
that they're companies that consultants that they would use.
All right, well, you just answered, when you said you prefer Tyler, so I'm okay with
I
that.
do.
I'm granted to
I
that.
was not happy with the original software conversion. I had some very good people who helped after the fact to get us straightened out from what they did when they set it up. But I think either one of these two companies, in talking, in fact, when I went to the Tyler conference, because I had concerns about some things that were going on, one of the companies was there and they helped me fix like 3 things just standing at their counter. And then, which I've had tickets open with Tyler for months.
Wow.
And then GSD is the other company, and they were at the BOAF conference, and he doesn't have timelines, so they have a set price, and however long it takes them to do what's in the contract, it's not gonna go above that price, whereas Park is, you get this much every month, and that's all you get. So it's kinda like, I don't really like that end game.
Terry, is there a need, I don't even know how to ask this, but is there a need for all the different municipalities to do things so differently? I mean, you would think some of these smaller cities, why does it all have to be so different that,
So there's a couple things. So each jurisdiction is governed by their regulations, right? So not everybody says that here's our fee schedule and it's based on the cost of construction. So that's actually becoming more in line with everybody across the state now having to do it this way.
okay,
The fees will still be different, but it'll come more in line, everybody doing it the same. The other thing House Bill 803 did was they are taxing DVPR with coming up with a uniform building permit application for all municipalities and counties to use across the state. So that's another thing there, and I think that's the way legislation's trying to go, is to bring everybody into the same, doing things the same way. So you can go to one jurisdiction and do it, and you'll know that the next jurisdiction is gonna be the same. But everybody has their own council, right? Everybody has their own commission. So you guys come up with regulations and we have to follow it, and that some of that falls into how the permits are issued and how the fees are done. So we're trying to, the state is, I don't want to be lumped in with that. The state is trying to bring it into a more uniform consistency across the board. I don't like the way they're going about it, but that's what they're forcing. So I think it's kind of as that change happens, you'll see it become more uniform. But there are some who are still fighting it,
so codes fit into, they play into it as
Yes.
well?
So,
Okay.
I mean, we have the Florida Building Code, but there are technical amendments that you can have to your Florida Building
Right.
Code. There are zoning regulations that then affect how that permit is issued. So and then there's processes, right? Everybody comes up with their own process as to how to get through. As we saw with the storm, right? Everybody kept saying, if I hear one more time, you're the only one doing it this way. It's, but there's
It's the nature
they
of
give
it.
us regulations, but they don't tell us how to enforce those regulations or how to make that happen. So everybody kind of has to come up with their own way, and that's how we got where we are. So,
If I remember correctly from a conversation a couple meetings ago, the fees that come into the CID, they basically just have to cover what the expenses are, correct? So there's not really a profit-making thing.
correct.
Okay, so does this mean we'll have to increase the fees to cover that extra money that you got coming in? Say so.
I
So-
think it's gonna be a redistribution of the fees. Some that were lower are gonna need to come up to cover, because if you think about it, if our fees, sorry, I just took over your answer.
Take up?
So
She'll
our
take all the
fees
help she can get.
are based on the value of the project. We need a couple big projects to cover a lot of her fees.
Yeah.
We can't do that anymore. So we're gonna need a lot more of the smaller projects to come up in cost to help compensate for that.
The other thing that's gonna happen with that is, right now, we do so if you fail an inspection,
Oh, yeah.
we'll come back out, right? Well, that's not gonna be able to happen in the future, because each inspection needs to be covered. So that inspection will have to be charged. If, and, no, if you fail an inspection and we have to come back out to do another inspection, you'll be
Oh,
charged
okay.
for that
Okay.
extra
Okay.
inspection. If, and currently that's $50, and our,
Yeah.
absolutely. Because the outside agency that we use to do inspections, I think they're $150 an hour, so we'll have to cover their costs. So they're, right now, we're just kind of taking that, and absorbing it. So that'll be something, and then there's other things, like new construction, our fees are on the higher end for that, so they will assume come down, for bigger projects, so it's definitely gonna be a redistribution of how things are done, but
So the agency that does the inspections, do they actually just charge you a flat 1 hour whether they're there or not, or do they break it down by 15-minute increments or anything like that?
so if they're only here for one inspection, say, they're gonna charge us for that 1 hour. But if they do a timeline, so it's, usually if they're here for,
My thought was just, if we did have to start charging people, would we already know it's gonna cost you this blank 150 for them to come out, whether they're 10 minutes or 60 minutes?
I try not to have them come out for smaller projects.
Yeah,
If we
right.
only have 1 or 2 inspections that day and I've got 5 meetings, I still try to get those 2 inspections done because it doesn't feel right to me.
Yeah.
So,
And that's
Okay.
gonna
I
be,
hope my sliding glass doors come in before this change. I'm kind of stressing about it.
get your
But-
credit.
So is that part of the legislature that that somebody's grandfathered in, if they put their permit in before July 1st, or you have to change everybody who,
Yeah, so anything that's in
just from that date
is,
forward?
well,
That's my answer.
we have to change our ordinance before we can do any change to the fee schedule. So that's the dilemma, right? So until we change our fee schedule, I can't charge whatever I want for a permit. You guys have to do that. It has to go through public hearing, and it has to be voted on. So we can't do that until we change our ordinance.
That's
So-
another
Do we have an
dilemma,
ordinance
'cause
ready?
we're off for the summer.
have
Do
we
we have to
prepared an
come
We're
in?
still,
Well-
we're still evaluating the financials.
We haven't even
of it.
gotten to the point of
Oh,
Because
what
we
the
have to
fees are.
evaluate every permit and the cost of those services for each specific permit to
So that
set
was
the
the other
fee
part
for
of
that
May and
specific
then-
permit.
Decide it in May and make sure you have to implement it by the end of June.
Yes,
And
but
got
you
an
need to go to
ordinance.
public hearing.
Yeah,
New ordinance, fee analysis,
yeah.
public hearing.
So that won't happen probably till September?
I want these guys
do we
that
have to do
that
something
have no
sooner?
idea
I mean, it'll
what it
depend
is
on
to
when
be
we can
here
get the
and
work done.
to deal with
No.
it.
We have to have everything done before we do that.
Before I can give you the
Do what
ordinance.
the
Yeah.
leadership says or you don't get anywhere. That's
Yeah.
bottom line.
Right, so, I mean, it's not something that we can just say, we're not gonna do that.
Now, will we get a penalty or penalized for?
I have not seen anything, there's nothing actually in the bill that
If you give out
says
free
that,
permits,
but
that's a penalty.
Oh,
if
yeah.
there
This
are
won't be, this is not
sections.
unique to us though.
No, it's the entire
And we're
state.
not even in the minority.
No.
You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, most people are gonna get it done and we're gonna be one of the few. Like, everyone is struggling with this.
Like
Everyone.
Tampa and Hillsborough are the only two that I have talked to, and I was talking to lots of people at the Building Officials Association conference. They're the only two that I have talked to that have it done the way the legislation says we have to do it.
Probably massive organizations, aren't they?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, I mean, City of Tampa, Hillsborough County.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
they're a little larger than
Yeah,
that.
they just pulled in everybody at the very beginning and knocked it out. I mean, they can't.
I'm gonna ask the question, and I'm gonna probably do a poor job asking this question, but let's say you have to put a dollar value on the permit, okay? Let's just use $100 to go do that. That's the dollar value that we put on it. What happens if we have 2 or 3 slow months of building?
Exactly.
Does our building, our income goes way down, and then you're not equal at the end of the year, which is, how does that get handled?
And then
Do
what
we-
happens if we have a really busy month?
Well, like
Hurricane.
another
Another hurricane,
another
actually.
natural disaster.
So we have talked about it, this is gonna have to be reevaluated every year,
Yeah.
because salaries
it?
are going up as well.
Okay.
I mean, depending on things.
I mean, over time, they
Over
will.
time,
Yeah, no matter
salaries
what,
will
over
increase,
time.
people
Yeah.
will change.
Well, and
Any of the
positions.
costs will increase.
you know, it's the
Or
all-in
go down,
cost
for that
is-
matter.
Yeah, so the first thing that I did when we first started talking about this is I scheduled out all of our people, all the people that work in the department, their current hourly rate. But then it's not just their hourly rate, it's their tax, yeah, I mean, that too. That's part of the fee analysis too, that will need to be done. All I can say at this point in time is, here's their salary, payroll taxes, health insurance, pension. You know, the 1 hour of your time costs this much.
Okay.
So trying to determine which of her personnel are gonna do these different activities. You
And
know,
then things like the cost of us using that portion of the building,
yeah,
because, you know, the building's an expense for the building department, right?
Absolutely.
The vehicles, so, I mean, there's lots of,
there's a lot, and it is gonna take a little bit of, I mean, close watching, keeping a watch of it. Cause one thing that you guys have not done is allocated like overhead to that department.
Okay.
So they have maintained, you know, like we talked about in a previous meeting, the analysis that I did over the last 5 years, they've pretty well broken even without having additional expenses allocated to them. As far as like my department's time, you know, we process the cash receipts, we could do their payroll, but we're not allocating that directly to them. So, you know, if there is gonna be a lot more involvement that we have, maybe we do need to talk about that. Maybe we do need to, you know, do some of that. But there's a lot that goes into this, certainly.
Well, I'm assuming that the update to the software will probably be something that would, you would just have to enter the approved budget in each year, and then it would,
once we get to the point where it's calculating the fees the way they want us to calculate, we
put in
would
this
change.
for consultants, this for this is all the way
Yes.
down, and
That's something that I have been doing, so anytime I need to update something or change something in the system, I do that myself.
yeah.
We're
It's just getting
Not
to
a
that point
programmer,
for them to
so
get the
it's fine.
software completed and updated, and these companies that have given you the proposal, how long did they say it would take them to do something like this?
So they're both calculating about 250 hours.
Okay.
And that's once we are able to tell them
What to do.
a plumbing permit, put it in for this amount, HVAC, put it in for this amount. We have to get to that point before they can start their work, their reprogramming.
So in IT time, that's like 2 months?
Well, and I was gonna make the point that, you know, with it being such an urgent thing, there is the potential, depending on, you know, her contacts and reaching out to the people that can do the fee analysis, there is the potential that we might need to do a budget amendment in this year, you know, the end of the summer, if we can get it going. In which case, we would take it out of this future budget and do a budget amendment into the year that we're in, if we can get it going that quickly. But in all actuality, it's, you know, June, and
Right.
our new year starts in a couple months.
I need to find the company that can do the fee analysis. Like I said, Tampa and Hillsborough both sent me their contacts. I'm working through that. But I need to, you know, I don't know if we should do that now so that we can't move forward with the other three, or one of the other three, until we know what the fee analysis is gonna be. So,
We don't have it in the budget now, right?
No.
So it'll have to be an amendment no matter what. And the fee analysis comes first.
That's gotta be first,
Yeah.
to figure out what we need to make in order to cover our expenses. And then,
Okay.
I don't know how we figure, I mean, we're coming off 2 years of hurricane
Crazy.
repair, so
Yeah.
how we figure that and the normal everyday operation costs. So, you know, what happens if we get back to normal at some point? I keep praying for that. But, you know, until we get back to that, I don't know what those numbers look like.
So you're gonna start with the analysis then?
Yeah, we need to start with
Okay.
the analysis, so I need to find a company to do that.
All right, and then And are we gonna go ahead and choose one of these companies for the other part?
Yeah, so there's,
So they're in, ready to go?
Tyler's,
How much did Tyler want?
70. So the other two are both consultants that work with Tyler regularly, so they're, they have been well vetted and they're familiar with the software. And I think Tyler just didn't want it. They're looking to
Bid
farm
themselves
those,
out.
right, I think that's.
So you don't know how long it'll take to select and have a fee analysis company start? Because that's kind of the key, right?
Is that-
Picking one and making a, making a contract with them.
But I'm assuming that everybody is doing that right
Yeah?
now. So,
Well, that's the other problem, that how many of these people exist?
so it's not just Tyler, it's every
Yeah.
municipality in
And
the
whatever
state.
software they might have.
Yeah.
Because not everybody has Tyler.
Right. So the fee analysis would be just a consultant to look at our fees, has nothing to do with Tyler. But once we figure that part out, then we can figure out how to get it into the system.
So,
Nice summer project.
yeah,
No vacation for you.
All right. Quick question then. Does the salaries in here represent what we talked about last week?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's already been added. Good.
The salaries are updated for this department. We estimated overtime in line with what it was last year. If you look at the actual for '25, that's a lot of unanticipated overtime.
Okay.
So then if you keep on going down, this was something I was gonna point out for all departments, under holiday bonus. What we've done in the past, I think that the holiday bonus program that you've had has morphed over time. At one point in time, you gave a $15 Thanksgiving, a $60 or $65 around the end of the year. Last year, what we did was we gave an $80 bonus on the checks, and then we handed out $75 Amazon cards at the employees' holiday party. Well, that was I don't want to use the word debacle because we did have controls over it and ended up being fine, but what I'm proposing here, and I did this across all departments, is instead of splitting it up and then having to adjust the paychecks to gross it up for these benefits that they got, I'm hoping that we can drop the gift card program and then just increase the end of the year bonus for the people. I've talked to some of the departments and nobody seems like they think that's a terrible idea, and it would alleviate a lot of the work. We had to order like 47 gift cards and then put them in the envelopes and make a sign-in sheet. Yes, you got yours, and I need that back. So it was a lot, and I'll do that if it's really in your hearts that you want to hand out.
Well, I know it pretty much started around COVID because we couldn't have a party. So we thought, well, we would increase the bonus that we would give them. Because we didn't have to pay for a party. We just took those funds and it's kind of morphed into what it is now. Yeah, something we have to consider. So, yeah, I think the gift card thing, eliminating it's not a problem. Increasing the rest of it, look at that. And I guess I got a question still. Since you've, will we get when it comes to the salaries and stuff, will we get something to show us what we did last week, what it did? Per every department, just one sheet that shows payroll something, or something that shows the step plan and what the changes were, how the 4% increase affected it, how the bringing people up to proper salary changed it. I guess I need something to show me what we did last week when it comes to payroll.
Okay. I've updated the step pay plan for the general employees. I have that here. I haven't distributed it yet. This one has my writing on it.
Once you get it
and
ready,
stuff.
yeah. Well, I think you were still waiting on two things, right? You were on the clerk and the.
Yeah, I do have some questions.
We discussed that a
So
little
we gotta
bit, which
get
we
worked
can
out.
talk about as part of the
But yeah,
strategy. If you
just,
wanna finish CID
before this
and then
budget
we
season's
can.
over, before June's over.
Yeah.
That's something we can look
Yeah,
at something.
we have.
So are you wanting to know by each individual?
I'd like to be able to look and say, this is what it would be if we did the 4%, and this is what it is with the 4%, and the increase to the department heads that we did.
So you want me to do so I have like a schedule for each department of based on what we talked about, you know, the changes to the
We know we were gonna do
position.
the 4%. We knew we were gonna do that, and then you guys showed us the other stuff, because you did your analysis of other cities, and we saw where we had to do increases to different people there. And I'd just like to see what it is if we would have just done the 4%, as compared to doing the 4% and those other increases, that's all.
But not all the salaries increase based
No,
on
it
that
would-
plan.
Yeah, it would just show, the other people would show normal, so, or
Yeah,
whatever.
no, but I
The
mean, even
4%.
the ones that we changed, they're still, aren't they still where they are? Like if they're in the middle of that range, we just
I
changed?
just wanna see, I'd like to see it on paper, and then the cost of everything, and that sort of deal, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for everyone that was not on the list, you know, they need to be brought up based on our salary survey.
Yeah.
All those people will get 4%.
Right.
And then, so you would want me to do an analysis and pull the people out that you've approved changes and tell you if we hadn't done that.
I think if you did the step plan and maybe kind of highlighted where each person is at in that step, I don't know how that would work. I'm just trying to figure out how I can look at it and say, if we wouldn't have had to increase everybody's pay because they're not getting paid the equivalent of what other cities are paying, what was the difference?
So you just want a cost difference between the two scenarios?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm getting hit by a few, there are people that do watch us, surprisingly. Yeah, and so I've been hit by a couple of questions on it, and I said, well, we didn't really find out that day what the cost would be, but we will find out, so I just want to know.
Speaking of staffing, I want to go back to CID for just a second if we can. Are
Yes,
you
yes,
done
yes,
with
yes,
CID
sorry.
otherwise?
You have more stuff? I mean, like, I don't know if you want to go line by line quickly.
It
If,
went down, it doesn't look too bad.
yeah, the personnel services, you know, the state has not told us yet what the FRS rates are gonna be, so that's still in, a question. Same thing with the health insurance. I haven't heard anything with changes to the life insurance and workers' comp. So a lot of these things are, you know, my best
Guesstimates.
estimate, yeah. Her first line item is the computer consultants, which she's done a good job of scheduling those out. Code enforcement, we're bringing that cost up to better match what the actual was for last year. And then the other things, we tried to project moderate increases where we thought. The insurance at the bottom section, I did speak to them and they said that a good estimate at this early juncture is 9.5%, so you'll see that between the departments. But there's legislation having to do with sovereign immunity limits, and if those changes are made, we could see our insurance coverage increase 25%. So they don't have that information
Are
yet.
you all aware of those? We've discussed it previously, but it's been a little while. Do you know what she's talking about with the sovereign immunity change that's
No.
happening?
No.
So
Please
there's-
tell me, I'm
Well,
so
there's just
excited.
legislation basically increasing the amount that government agencies would be required to pay. There's maximums set, and that the current amounts have not changed in many, many years. And so there's been a lot of proposals to increase the amount that basically you could seek from agencies like ours. So if that all goes through, it basically means that our liability in those situations is higher, which means our insurance coverage would have to go up to cover that increased liability. So that's what she's talking about, is we could get sued for more money. Right now, the cap is what it is, but they're talking about changing it, so.
That bill wasn't passed, was it?
I don't think so,
So it's dead until next legislative session.
but
But you know, it's gonna
they've
come. yeah, I
been,
know,
they've
I
been
just-
trying
I
for
was just making sure I
several
didn't miss
years.
something.
No, and the thing is, basically my understanding of it is that this is the type of topic that it gains more traction as the years go. Like, they've been pushing for this for the last several years. So it kind of comes up every year and it gets taken more and more and more seriously each year, if that makes sense. So it's like, okay, well, the first year no one was willing to discuss it, and then it was like, well, we'll talk about it. And this year it got pretty serious traction. So the expectation is that at some point it is going to happen. That's my understanding. When and how much, I don't know. But I think insurance companies are taking it pretty seriously at this point.
The current liability is 200 per person, 300 per incident. I need to check my numbers, but I think they're looking to increase it to 350, 500.
You know, there
It was
talk
much
of
higher than
300,
that when it
600.
was originally proposed.
Yeah, it was like
The
1 million.
It was like $1 million.
Yeah.
So it's scary, some of the numbers that they're talking about. So there is a risk there that our insurance would
And there was a
go up.
provision, if I'm not mistaken, to allow municipalities to settle above the minimum without a legislative bill to approve it.
Yeah,
So,
So I'll touch base back with them when they have some better numbers for us. And then the other things that have comments on them, like her promotional and then training and education, she has ISO, I say she, I'm sorry. The CID department has ISO requirements for percentages for those. So once we get everything else sorted out, I'll double check those numbers are correct to comply with those requirements.
Yeah, they require a percentage of we had our BSEG's rating through ISO last time. Where they actually deducted points from us for not having the correct amounts in our training and in our promotional items. So we ended up adding that into the budget 2 or 3 years ago, I think it was. So that'll come back up. They do it every 5 years, I believe. So that'll come back up in the future. So having those numbers in there will help with your insurance ratings for the residents, so.
So, did you ever hear back from the CRS people? I saw you sent that email and then
So,
didn't see a reply.
Yeah, so I sent an email back in, was that October? We got approved to go to a Class 7 for our CRS rating, which would give an additional discount to our residents for their flood insurance. Then FEMA shut down and nothing happened. So my understanding is they're back up and running, which is why I'm kind of excited to go to this conference this week because they're going to be there and hopefully I'll get some answers there. So I reached out to our representative last week and asked where we were in that, and she told me I had to talk to the FEMA district. So I'm hoping to get some answers today as to where we are when I get up there. So.
I'd like to jump in real quick on the permit fee issue. So I'm looking at the bills right now. July 1st is the deadline for certain exemptions. We still have till January 1st to redo the permit fee structure. That's under House Bill 399. Yeah, but 803 is talking about different. So they have 803 lists out a bunch of different exemptions that go into effect. But until January 1st, 2027, we don't have to have our permit fees restructured.
Doesn't sound like you interpreted it that way.
So we can discuss
Always
it, but
go
that's
to
what the
lawyer.
language of the bill's talking about. Which makes more sense because there's no way any cities are going to be July 1.
I don't know.
You're right, but that was not the conversation at the Building Officials Association or with the.
I don't know how they could expect cities to enact changes to their entire fee structure in less than 2 months.
Yeah.
Like, I don't.
As I said, I don't think there's going to be penalties right away, kind of thing, but because everybody has to do it, and there's not.
Well, let's connect and we can kind of work through the language and figure it out.
Okay. So that all we got for?
She's heading to Orlando.
I want to just make one quick comment on CID. So there is a position in CID that was put in. It's been considered a temporary position. You all funded it through the end of this fiscal year. It's an administrative position because of just how inundated they have been with permits and paperwork and inquiries following the storms. We put a temporary full-time position in there last year. The budget currently, my understanding is that we are requesting to keep that position for another year. One, because they are still dealing with an influx of storm-related projects, but also I think with the changes that they're going to have with their fees and whatnot, they just have a lot that they're needing to do. So our thought was to keep that position for at least another year. So I just wanted to be fully transparent that in theory we had expected for a position to no longer be there after this year, but my understanding is the budget does have that position continued into next year. So I just want to be transparent with
So
that.
that has to be considered in. the
Already
whole-
in here, isn't it?
In all of that
It's,
structure as well.
that person's salary's already in here.
It's not in
There it
addition to what's there. I'm more pointing out
Yeah,
that
right.
that it was
It's in
only,
there.
we had previously given us permission to fund it through the end of this fiscal year. I'm asking you to continue that position for them for at least another year, for us to reevaluate later.
We can afford it right now.
So, well, now is not the
Sort of
time to
it.
be for us to be cutting, to be honest.
Yeah.
So depending on what's gonna happen in the future, now would not be the time for us to cut.
And that position has been so helpful, just in freeing
Yeah.
up the time, just the phone answering,
They already know what they're doing, so.
Absolutely.
That helps.
And she's doing a great job, so not that it's the person,
Yeah.
it's the position, but having that extra position has been a huge benefit.
So, this is just a general question for all the people that are watching. Then we have 3 high-rises that are still empty, is that true? They're basically
They're-
empty?
So the 1255 Pasadena, which is 2 of the high rises, and then 6800 Park are still empty.
So we have 2, do you have any idea how many residents are in those, roughly?
Chief.
The 2 towers
You
are
know?
21 stories each, and the 6800 is 18 stories, so
Several
10 to
hundred.
12 units per story,
Okay, a lot, all right.
maybe.
Could
I'm
be,
looking at the chief.
it's well over
12 units.
500, it's not, without knowing the number, it's well over 500. So we need to have the manpower to be able to get those back open again, once that
So we've
system
got that.
starts.
We've
Okay,
got several businesses that are still closed that
Yeah.
have not, I assume someone's gonna be purchasing and renewing. We've got, the car wash has applied for their permit, have not gotten that through yet. There's lots of, the nursing home out on the Shore Drive is still vacant.
right, okay.
So, yeah, I mean, we've got lots of projects that will, I'm assuming, be coming in soon. We've got new construction going on the island like crazy. There's,
Yeah.
and I know there are more coming, that are being, proposing to tear down and rebuild. We've got 2 that are in the Elevate Florida program.
Oh.
That'll be elevated. They've gotten pretty far in the process, so I know they'll be coming in soon. So we've got lots of things coming in that are gonna take lots of time, big projects,
Okay.
so.
So do you have permits for like Lutheran Towers?
So, no, not yet.
Not yet. Even though they're taking stuff out, they
They
don't
did a
need.
permit to remove the mold issues and take remediate the mold. They have not applied for permits. My understanding is they went to their board, and their board decided to sell the property. So they are in that process right now, so
What they
until
would do is they're
that's.
probably gonna remediate and then sell it as is.
Correct. Yeah, so they've done the remediation at this point. They're working on
Let the new owner do whatever they want.
Do they have to tear it down? Will they have to tear it down, or that might be their decision?
So, the issue with that building is the evaluation that was on the property appraiser was very low. So, they would, I'm assuming, get an appraisal and submit the appraisal, and we would base the 50% on that, and then that's all they could spend. So, they can elevate a lot of the equipment, because all that equipment is at grade level. So all of the boilers and the generator and all that stuff was at grade. So they would have to elevate those kind of things, I believe, depending on where their appraisal comes in, so.
Tore it down, they couldn't build it back, right? Or could
Correct.
They couldn't.
And the fountains, or what used to be the fountains, similar situation? They
So they had
remediated.
applied for a permit, and it was ready to be issued, and then they never bothered to pick it up. So, my understanding is they're working through some new management kind of situations again, and they've been talking to us, but I haven't gotten any documents yet. So, they had roof damage as well, so a lot of the upper floors got damaged.
Thank you.
So,
Any more questions for CID before we let her?
Older enough.
Enjoy your day on I-4.
yeah. So I'm like,
At this time of day.
I'm gonna hold off a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah. Okay, well,
right,
thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank
Have a
you.
safe trip.
Thanks. Thank you
Want
for
us to
that
go
reminder,
next?
Carly.
Well, we can start back at the beginning if you want, page 2. Legislative Department, that's the commission. The top section, we discussed, maintaining your guys' same pay rates. I don't have the workers' comp yet, but I estimated a 10% increase. So if you go down to the operating expenses section, the consultant services, there was a lot in there budgeted for this year. We're not we've not spent a lot out of there, so I did decrease that. That would be, in the past, the activity, when I looked up what's been posted to that account, is Forward, Pinellas, and then if you have any other consultants. If you have strong opinions one way or another, I'll be happy to change any of these things. But I just.
Where are we with the Ford Pinellas?
They are working with Terry and the new planner Craig,
Okay,
going through to create like a red line version of some ordinance changes
okay.
to propose to you all. The hope was that those could be completed and presented to you at our workshop next week.
Oh, good.
They've been going back and forth, and we have a lot of questions.
Sure.
And so it's turning into a more in-depth conversation, I think, than we expected when they set that date like a month ago. So they're asking to come after the summer break instead of next week.
Have they been reaching out to local businesses as well?
Yes, they've been conducting.
I've had several businesses tell me they've
Yes,
been
so,
contacted,
yeah, I mean, we did our community meeting here, and then after that, we worked with them to get them information on contacting local businesses. So they have been meeting with local businesses directly, and so bringing that feedback to us and trying to work toward a proposal to bring in to you guys. So,
Okay.
The next line item is legal services. Gray Robinson's current monthly retainer is $5,000. The lobbyists are a two-part $2,500 and $2,500 monthly cost. And then I added a very, very conservative $10,000 for miscellaneous matters, general matters that they determine are outside of the retainer. I'll point out now that this does not include any arbitration having to do with the fire department. That's being charged to the fire department when we get there. I don't know if that's enough, actually. We'll see. I mean, hopefully we'll stay under that $130,000 for legal services. If anybody has an opinion of if you think like it should be higher, please let me know.
What are some of the miscellaneous? Would that be like human resource issues that are not part
labor
of?
and employment,
Charter review.
certain things with charter review or else for the retainer, so things like that. Most things fall within the retainer, but there are issues like that.
Outside of that, okay. Yeah, I mean, you feel comfortable with that?
yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I do.
A moderate amount in your computer-related expenses. We do allocate some of the, so we pay a company called Vertex for your emails and your software and your WatchGuard login things. So what we've been doing, and there's a lot of things that I want to do, but I just haven't been able to for this budget season. At some point in time, I'm going to ask you, and I think I've told you that I would like to pull out IT into its own department. But as of right now, what we do is we say, okay, you've got 5 email addresses or 5 users. So we allocate, if they say they're charging us for 50 licenses, we allocate 5 of those to you if you're, using that. So that's what that estimate is for the other contractual services.
Okay.
I left your travel, conference and meetings budget the same. I didn't know if you had plans, of where you're going to go and when, and, to put the details in. If you wanted to provide that to me, I'll be happy to incorporate that in the notes here. If there's any equipment that's not capital, small things in here that need to be replaced, that's the $2,000 for repairs and maintenance for equipment. We've got $2,000 for if you needed new business cards or new shirts. A small amount of office supplies. You guys don't really use a lot of office supplies. I decreased the fuel budget. You're not really, I've not seen where you're using the Tahoe, the admin vehicle, very much.
Never been in it.
It's here if you need it.
Yep.
Operating supplies, it seems like that ticked up in favor, the office supplies were down, more is going to operating supplies, which is, fine, just moving line items around. And then the books, dues, and memberships, we pay Zoom, I believe that's to host and put out our meetings. Suncoast League of Cities, Florida League of Cities, Tampa Bay Regional Planning Council, all of those things would be accounted for in those memberships. That look good?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, page 3 is finance and administration.
Didn't these used to be separate?
Not that I can tell. I would like, that's another thing I would like them to be separate, one day. I'm gonna make some progress this year, hopefully. Okay, so this first line, salary and wages for the administration department, we alluded to this a little earlier. And the note here says that I'd like clarification for the administrator and the clerk's salary. So, I wanna circle back to the conversation that we had last week when we talked about the salary survey. I pointed out at that time, Commissioner McAleese, that currently Carly is at the top step of her position.
Right.
I want to clarify that that doesn't automatically qualify her to go to the top step if you're splitting this job. I just want to make
That's
that
the way
clear.
I interpreted the end of our conversation.
I know, and I walked away thinking, well, I wonder if that's what he thought that I meant.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to assume anything.
Okay,
So it is up to your discretion at what step you would like her to transfer to. I think that Carly has worked on a draft of the administrator's job description, or modified what the existing is. And in my mind, I feel like we need to hash out what you're going to be asking of that position versus the clerk's position in order to set a fair salary for that. So I think that she's,
I do.
come on down.
Oh, you want me to join you?
Sure, I mean, you don't have to, you can, if
I
you
can,
just, yeah.
well, you tell me.
yes, you can join us.
Okay.
Better for my neck,
Okay. Okay.
if that's all right.
Okay.
Well, and then to say what, also for the clerk's salary, what step you were anticipating. As of right now, when I did this amount that you see here, I put the clerk at step 5, about the middle,
About the middle.
Yeah.
All right, so we have 10 steps in our
12.
Well,
12?
So
Okay.
there's a start and then 12, so it's actually more like 13. But it's considered a 12-step
Yeah.
plan. And passed down.
Yeah, you'll step up 12 times.
So I'll let you know that this is, there's currently, my job description includes both. It is one job description
Right.
that says city clerk / administrator. So this came from that. I took off the clerk specific responsibilities. I added in a few things that from discussions or my understanding what you would like to see a little more of. And then added in a few things that I feel I probably should be doing and just have not had the ability to do. One of those things would be my representation of the city to things like, the county and the state. There's a lot that I go to either with other cities or organizations or the county, but at this moment, I am there as more of an observer, which even those types of things I am not at often enough because of my clerk responsibilities here. So I would like to increase my attendance at those things, but also potentially increase my ability to participate on behalf of the city, because at this moment I really don't, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
It's much more of a just kind of collection of information and guidance, or I, am networking on behalf of the city before and afterwards, but in an informal capacity on your behalf. And so the job description is not terribly different in nature in that way, because a lot of the way that it was written previously was for basically you all to be able to tell me whatever you'd like me to do and I'll do it. So it's very much still that same job description. I added very little. I think it's more about the fact that I would actually be able to go do these things now, if that makes sense. So it's just intended to be a starting point, not necessarily a finished product. But I just wanted to have something. I know sometimes it's easier to, when you have something, to edit it, add to it, take away, than to just have kind of a vague conversation based on general ideas. But just so we're clear, this does come from my current job description. It's just been modified slightly. So if there's things that you're looking for,
So will that modify the clerk description?
so there.
Since you're
I had
removing
in-
stuff from that job?
Yeah, I mean, I will be going back. We had a previous city clerk job description isolated by itself. There will be a few things that I'll be pulling out of that because the previous city clerk description was also managing the administration department. And so I would be removing a few things from that. It would be a much more traditional clerk role. So not really adding much to it, just pulling out a couple of things because they won't be doing as, you know, as many of those things, if that makes sense.
So, like I said, I projected step 5 as the hire for the clerk. I don't know if that's realistic or not, but that puts them at 118,702, which is, I think, very fair for this area, for the size of our city, for the amount of responsibilities. It's more than fair, I will say. So for the administrator position, this one, the way that we've talked about this,
I'll let you chat for that. I don't need to stare you in the face for that.
the way that we've discussed this
You want me
is
to stay? Okay. Okay.
we've been talking about and thinking about the pay for that position in conjunction with the pay for the other directors. So it stands to reason that if you're expecting that person to be our supervisor and give us direction and things of that nature, they would need to be paid more than us. How much more than us is gonna be up to you. So we have, and I for some reason I thought that Terry had another step to go when I told you last week that she and I were not at the top.
Right.
She is at the top of hers. So I'm the only one down here on step 9, which is fine. But in looking at like the steps and doing my salary, I was like, oh shoot, I was wrong, so I misspoke.
Okay.
So the other directors are going to be at the top step next year will be $176,800.
You copy that for us?
I will make you one, but I did not today. This one, sorry, has got my writing all over it. So in order to exceed that pay, the administrator position would need to be above step 7. Step 7 is only $3,000 more than the rest of us. Step 12, with the 4% raise that you guys approved on top of the salary survey results, that would put her at $208,000. So she needs to be somewhere in that range. And you'll have to tell me what you think. And I can get my little calculator out and tell you, whatever you need to know, but I just wanted to point out that, the discussions have been more that I think the administrator feels like if she's going to be tasked with more, instead of being our peer as much as she has been, to have a more significant
The city administrator is currently what now? And then we'll go to 208? What's the difference?
Well, so if she were to stay at her top step where she is, she would be at 176.8 with the rest of the directors.
Okay.
So to pull her out of there and then move her to solely the city administrator, if you put her at the top step, that's $31,000 more than
Okay.
the other directors. I didn't hear you, sorry if I said.
I just started
Oh,
myself. so
okay.
208.
Yes.
Yeah, so 208. So, I kind of wanted to have your thoughts of where I should expect to be with that.
So if we made it
There for a
less
moment.
than 208, it would actually change her level from a 12 down to another number? That's how that works? And that's not negative in any way?
Well, I mean, I've seen it happen here before where people have changed jobs. And so if they get a promotion, now they have the opportunity to grow more in the future.
Absolutely.
So-
Which is what I was thinking when I brought that number up. You always want to grow, have
Yeah.
room to grow, but go ahead.
So, for instance, like if we took her from a step 12 to a step 9 or 10, she would still have some growth in that position, not considering COLAs or, whatever ends up happening to us with our funding and everything else. Just the concept of that alone.
See that?
Yeah. I'm sorry, I should have printed you guys copies. So kind of the choices there are 179, I think, 184. I c-
179, 184, 190, 195, I'll call 196, and 202 really, it's 2019, so.
Yeah.
Then step 12 is an even 208. Well, I just love having these conversations in person.
I know.
I can leave if you want. I don't need to.
No, you just go back and watch it on tape.
Well, and I do want to make a little bit of the point that I think Commissioner McAleese was making last time we talked a little bit. It's the position, not the person. So don't be looking at this specifically. I mean, you do need to, you're going to have to place me somewhere, but we're also, the point of the salary survey is to evaluate the competitiveness of the position. So you need to do both of those things,
Do you
if
wanna
that
see it?
Well,
makes sense.
we also have to think about that we know the quality of work that you put in.
Right.
No doubt.
Because if you were to, when you retire or whatever, and we had to pick somebody else, they definitely would not start there at that top level. But that's something we do have to consider, is that we know what your work quality is, and we know what it represents for this city over all the years. So that we do have to look at that. So,
Help me, I thought you said we only look at this on a higher level once every 3 years?
5.
For the salary survey,
Yeah.
somewhere it's required between 3 and 5 years.
Okay.
Your
So
city.
We
I
did
haven't- I
5
haven't-
this time.
Okay, so I haven't been here long enough, so we do that, and so I got an idea where I think the city administrator should be.
Yeah.
So then we look at the COLA every year, but then do we also look at promotions every year, if we didn't put her at the very top? Or didn't put
promotion as
this?
far as a different
Step
job.
increase.
No, step, I'm sorry, is it
Oh.
called a step increase? Step increase.
We don't, steps are automatic.
They're automatic.
Oh, they're automatic.
Unless there are
It's not
mechanisms
based
to,
on-
There have been times when we have
Yes.
moved someone up an extra level.
Okay,
well, and there are
You don't-
mechanisms to not
You're
move
used to
somebody as
analysis.
well for
I am.
performance
We don't
issues.
have that.
That
Okay.
happens as well.
all right.
I
Yeah,
have-
yeah, but the problem, well, it's not really a problem, but most of our people
I don't know
are,
if you want to see this.
Yeah.
the longevity has put them at the top.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so
sure.
there is
Seen it.
the only way they get any increase is through the COLA, or unless we decide to increase what the step plan is.
All right.
So, in addition. So I mean, from what I see, she's gonna be doing.
I was gonna
and
say-
Taking over,
I'd say split it right
Yeah.
now.
I'm at that
Push it
one,
down
what was
to
it,
max.
195?
I was at 195, but
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm at-
I could do the 208.
What
Yeah.
step
Either
step is that?
I don't feel bad about
But
it.
next year should be over 200,
Yeah.
Yeah.
just a COLA,
Yeah.
plus with step.
Then there's growth, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, as she's taking
For
on
growth.
more and more. Not that you're not already doing a heck of a job back there, Carla.
Is the step
Yeah.
increase tied to the fiscal year or employment anniversary? Okay,
Or promotion date.
okay.
So the COLA, so everybody that's gonna get the 4% that you approved, that goes into effect the pay period that includes 10/1.
Okay.
And then that person also will, if they have steps left, when they get to their anniversary or promotion date, they will get the next step at that point in time.
Okay.
What's the step number that puts it at 195?
10.
Step 10.
Yeah.
Which would be
Two
about,
steps.
Yeah, plus, 2 steps plus 4% a year compound.
Yeah.
On top of that.
Yeah, that's where I
So
am.
that's our average.
Yeah, I think.
so that would put her at about 20,000 more than the other directors at their top step.
Yeah, what do you think?
I feel good about that.
Yeah.
195? Okay. Like 195?
All right.
What's your anniversary date? You don't remember?
October, I think I'm October 1.
Is she October 1?
So does
I-
that mean she gets, does that mean she goes to
I-
11 in
You're like
October?
tied to the fiscal year.
Is that how that
I,
works?
well, I
She's
think
been
I
here so
am.
long, she can't remember.
I think it's October 1 because when they changed the position previously, it was a change that took effect October, like we went through a budget process, they added the city administrator responsibilities, I think effective October 1, I think.
What's your hire date? When you do
So,
something like this?
yes,
She's confirming it's
no,
October 1.
she's nodding at me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, she's,
So, okay, that's a good point to make then.
so, Yeah, so my original hire date was July of 2010. I think my current anniversary date is October 1st, I think.
Well, so that's an important point to make.
Yeah.
On October 1st, you want her to be at step 10. Not,
Wouldn't it not take effect until October 1, so you shouldn't be this fiscal year starts October, that's when this will start.
yes, but
So-
you're not wanting her to go to step 10 and then immediately advance to 11
No.
at that point. Okay.
No,
That would not be my goal,
That would
anyway.
not be
okay.
mine.
A little bit of room to grow, yeah.
Okay, understood.
So is July the date your step changes, or is
No,
October?
it moves to October 1.
So it's October 1, okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. October 1.
Okay. And just for the record too, I have this year's step pay plan. At this point in time, at the top step where she is, she's at 167. So, you know, that's a substantial increase.
Sure is, yeah, okay.
Well, I've been a bargain for
That
a
she's
long
earned.
time.
She
Heather.
has
I've
been
been
a
a bargain.
Yeah.
I've been a bargain for a while, so.
Well, and what do you think about the clerk? I mean, I can decrease it back down to start. I can, you know, do mid-range for
As
this.
far as for the budget purposes?
Yeah.
I-
don't
Let me
know.
see it again.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
speak on that one if you don't mind.
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think, I wanna speak on that one. I think you need to budget at least mid-range.
Yes.
I will tell you, the clerk role is not where you want a nickel and dime. It's just really not. If you have a good one, you don't notice. If you have a bad one, you feel it. There's just so much, the ramifications of having a bad clerk are insane. So
There's so
I
many
just,
requirements, I mean, over the years, there's so many requirements.
So what if we
Like when
budget?
you make announcements to have meetings, and
Yeah.
you miss something like that, and you really, there's a real legal problem.
I would not budget below
Yeah.
mid-range.
What do we budget as step 8, and just so we have negotiating room?
I mean, you
And
can,
we could always bring
yeah.
them in at step 5.
I think, yeah, I wouldn't go, I would not budget below 5, because I just don't think you should plan to hire below that. I mean, if you find somebody that I just,
Budget 8,
But step 8 is 133. So,
budget 8, and if we can get a class, that's better.
yeah.
She's gonna hear, or he or she's gonna watch this meeting and hear us.
He or she,
Well, it's still gonna be based on the, you know, the amount of knowledge, their
he or
career.
she, may
their-
the
Yeah.
best woman win.
He or she, we don't know.
As I
That's
say.
right.
We don't know what clerk we'll get. Okay, so step 8 for the clerk, step 10 for the administrator.
Yes.
Okay, now we've gone through one line item of this department.
Until it's
Oh, hold on. Can I ask a question on this? So,
Yeah,
one of your
absolutely.
lines on here, it says confers with residents, businesses. So, I assume you're doing that on an as-need basis now? Will there be something more proactive on that when the job gets split?
Potentially, I would like for there to be, but that would be
That's what I was
something that I would
wondering. Okay.
ask you all about.
Okay,
Is the establishment of a more regular, not necessarily a town hall, but a more regular opportunity for residents to communicate with the city separately from
Okay.
a public comment type of situation. Because right
Okay.
now, that's what we kind of advise people, is like,
Yeah.
come to a public meeting and let us know.
Right.
You know, I mean, now, people do reach out to me, I mean, a lot of people have my cell phone number, it is what it is, but I would
Would
like to.
attending chamber meetings be a thing? That would probably help, yeah.
that one just jumped out at me, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good question.
So the second line item on there is the finance department salaries. We've already determined the steps for our existing staff, but I do have an open position that we're actively searching for someone for the accounting specialist, and I did the same, I did step 5. I mean, I don't know what kind of qualifications and experience I'm gonna find in somebody. Yeah. So I was
How much is 5?
conservative. Step 5 for them would be about 68,000. I hope that I don't have to come back and say, can I please give them more? Like, you know,
Well, top is 80? Is that what you got on the advertisement?
86. Well, because that's our existing step plan that's on the ad. But with the increase, it would go up to 86.
And with all that salary is down almost 5%, 4.6%?
Yeah, I believe that last year, there was, well, so the people that were terminated were at the top
Oh,
of
okay,
the
yeah.
pay scale. And then it goes in conjunction kind of with the next line item, the retirement pay contingency.
Okay.
The former finance director knew he was retiring, he budgeted a big payout, and he was pretty doggone close too.
Was it close? Good.
Yeah.
So what is the amount of money that you've got in here right now under the wages for finance, is that using the old person's pay?
No.
Okay, so you don't,
No, I did step 5 for,
you did step 5 already in here, okay, okay.
yeah, there's so many assumptions that go into this. I sit back in my office and I think, okay, well, this makes sense to me, but I wanted to have all these notes and have these discussions so that it makes sense and you're, on board with it as well.
So for the proposed budget for the retirement, that's anticipated, that's only 1,000?
Yeah, I know, well, we're kind of anticipating one person's retirement from the admin and finance department. That person does not have a lot of accumulated time,
Okay.
so.
And does this have the increase we talked about last week for yourself?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah, the way that I approach the salary budget for all departments is I look to see each individual in each department, what step they're on now, and then I budgeted a full year at the next step. So my budgeted numbers are gonna be higher than actual unless every single one of them's
everything got
anniversary
it
is
at,
10
okay,
months.
all right, good.
So if you keep on going down over time and stuff, I kept that similar, the $150 per employee. You'll see later where that pulls out of the special events department. Payroll taxes, again, FRS, we don't know those rates. And it's another thing, I don't mean to get your blood pressure up about the state, but, they have to pass a budget. And so then from that budget, they tell us all our contribution rates. Those go into effect for next month. So I'm ready anytime, I'm ready anytime. So that amount will change,
So you went up 16.8 just to have something in there?
to correspond with, the increase in wages.
Oh, okay, Gotcha.
We have 2 employees, one in finance, one in admin, that never did make that leap into joining the FRS. They're still in the Florida Municipal Pension. That's a flat 10% contribution. That math is easy. Again, health insurance, workers' comp, we don't know yet. And then the interfund salary transfers, I put that I may adjust those. I just increase them a flat 10% right now based on our discussions today in the budget development, see how things shake out. I might do a different allocation. So if you keep on going on, the computer consultant, I had a nice call with them. Very nice guy from Vertex. He and I were on a call with Alex, our in-house IT professional. So the contract that you signed with Vertex was in December of 24. It carried through to December of 25. We're currently working on a month-to-month at the same rate, but a month-to-month arrangement. And I very quickly realized that when you hired the IT professional, you did not spell out what they would be taking away from our existing company. And so they've kind of gotten a better feel. He's been here about a year now. And so I was on this call with our computer vendor and I said, well, I need that price to go down, way down.
Which was the intention.
Yeah.
What she's saying, that was a coordinated,
Yeah.
that was the plan. Because we were adding the IT position and we weren't entirely sure how that balance was gonna go. So that was
Now you kind of know,
so now we know, so now the thought is lower your services.
Yeah.
okay.
So he, our IT professional and the consultants are going to work together to determine what they can divide evenly, or not evenly, but what they can divide between them. So the quote that they gave us from Vertex includes the current monthly rate, which I expect to go down substantially. But that's what for everybody's computer consultant, that's what it's based on, because they have not determined yet what services they're no longer gonna provide specifically versus what we're gonna be able to do in-house specifically. But he did say that hopefully by the time that we reconvene in August, I'll have a better idea of what that's gonna look like. I expect it to come down a lot, and I made no, secret about that.
And a new contract will have to be developed, right? Yeah, with the specifications.
Yeah. He went on to say, because we did a big server upgrade, we did new Wi-Fi access points here, hardware upgrades. So he does not anticipate anything big in this upcoming year. So
What if we move administration over to the old firehouse in this year? Would that be, we're not anticipating that?
I
No?
don't think it's gonna happen
Okay,
this year.
all right. Well, we budgeted
We gotta get,
15
first we gotta get
million.
it, first we gotta get it fixed.
Well, didn't we
That's gonna take a
budget the
while.
15 million?
that's a very fair point. I don't know. I don't know enough about the infrastructure of the computer system, whether you can just unplug it here and take it over there and we'll be fine. I like to, I like to think
Yes,
that's
you're
how
right.
it
I
is.
love your positive attitude.
The answer is,
That's how I always reboot.
It's
Yeah.
just plug and play.
Unplug it, plug it back in.
Plug and play.
So
I
we'll,
mean, I just think it's something to consider if we have that other money budgeted. I can tell you right now, it is not that simple.
Yeah.
Right.
At least I
I
think
mean, we
our,
can get Alex out here, but I can tell you.
yeah, I think our goal is to try to get the $15 million loan, right? As soon as possible and have it ready when we start to build. And, I assume we collect interest on that while it sits, so we should, why it's in the budget, so that we can get the loan to cover the budget part of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something to think
so
about.
it is. I mean, we'll definitely have to explore that when we get.
Because don't we have money in there also for the upgrading of that building?
Yes.
So, I mean, just, it all kind of goes together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and potentially, I mean, if I don't get updated numbers in time, we know going in that this number is way too high. So potentially, instead of having that ongoing monthly fee, hopefully we could absorb some of that additional
That's
cost.
a good point. Yeah.
With doing
Okay.
it this way. So the audit and accounting fee, that gets allocated between several departments in the sewer fund. I've budgeted, we have a multi-year contract with them, so I budgeted based on that. I did include those extra disclosures. I'm hoping that I won't need them to do that next year, but just to be on the safe side, I wanted it to be in there. The other contractual services would be non-routine computer stuff, other consultants. I'm not anticipating, hopefully, anything crazy comes up that I need, but, Terry didn't know that they were gonna change the fee structure of
Right,
how we
yeah,
have to calculate
okay.
the permit, so that was, just in case. We got an estimate from the supervisor of elections. It's a little less than 10,000, so I rounded up. Travel. So one thing I wanted to talk about with travel and your registrations. A lot of activity has been posted to training and education, memberships, dues, things like that. Going forward, I'm going to try to keep an eye a little bit closer. I would like to break out the travel piece of that. So, if you're paying for a hotel and the conference, I would like, in my perfect world, I would like the hotel to be separate than the conference so that I can see how much is the lodging, how much is the mileage. So that's, again, a change that I'm in the process of making slowly.
You mean a different line item?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and didn't you get rid of a couple of other line items that were never filled out?
Yeah, and
So-
I've renamed some things too.
Yeah.
So we're not down there that far yet, but I'm calling it operating supplies, which would be non-office supplies. Historically, your chart of accounts has showed that as institutional supplies. I'd like to call it operating supplies. Just a preference, I suppose, yeah. The other things, I've tried to do my best to estimate, I don't know if electricity is gonna go up 20%, but let's try to be conservative and say it is. Again, insurance, that's gonna change. And then the other things I kept real steady. I don't have any reason to believe that those items are gonna go up, substantially.
Operating supplies, what's that?
Operating supplies, again, that would be if it doesn't qualify as like an office supply. So, you know, things around the office that we buy and need and use, but not like, not pens, paper, pencil, like those kinds of things. And then the training and the dues, that's, held steady, and the overhead transfer, again, that might be adjusted. Any questions, changes, concerns? Okay. All right, so the next page, page 4, is the law enforcement. We did get our updated cost estimate from Pinellas County Sheriff. They're showing an increase of 6.1%. Again, this is one of the entities that it is what it is,
Right.
you know, so that takes us to 1.2
So
million.
technically, if we didn't, are we required by statute or something that we have to either have our own law enforcement or contract with law enforcement? So there is nothing like, because they're county, that they have to take care of us, whether we have anybody or not, so.
You don't want your
Doesn't
own
work that way.
department. I
Yeah.
mean, that would be outrageous. I mean, I think
Yeah.
that the towns that have that are crazy. I mean, I'm sure Treasure Island spends a lot of money on that. And, you know,
I wouldn't want to
they-
do that. I was
St.
trying to find a
Pete-
way that we didn't pay for it all.
Yeah. Well, St. Pete Beach, same thing with St. Pete Beach,
I mean,
they
that would
went
cover
away
pretty much
from.
of our shortfall if it's property
But I
tax
mean, what are you
goes-
gonna do? What,
Yeah.
this, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was one of the first, you know, external entities that gave us an estimate, and I was very thankful for that. Okay, so next page is page 5, that's the fire department.
Oh, God. Here it comes.
I figured this would be like 3 pages.
Yeah, really. The first line item on here is their salaries and wages. Their union contract says 4%. I'm reserving the right here. I just did a flat 4% because we've had some position changes, some salaries that were impacted by the salary survey that we talked about last week. So I didn't have a chance to go through every single person and plug in what step they're at, but I will do that. Hello, welcome. Do you want a copy? No.
Is there anything that jumps out?
I think what jumped out, guys, is I'm always, I do the operating side of it, so I'm always real cognizant of that. I was getting, I was trying to keep it under 10%. I think that the biggest drivers there this year was an increase in vehicle maintenance and building maintenance, because those are the two where we've typically been over budget. So I try to, instead of, if you look at this year's, don't even do it, because it's going to really, we're talking like a 50% overage. So I added significant amounts to those budgets, which affected the overall. Everything else is really pretty much in line from an operating perspective. We checked with LifeScan. We don't expect any increase in physical costs, medical physicals this year. And then, most of the stuff, I think we're doing pretty good. I think a couple I was able to decrease slightly, but they were very small budget items. So, electricity was up too, so I did add that a little bit in anticipation that would continue. Also, we did add, and I think it's in operating, right, the strategic plan.
Yeah, that's the first line item under,
So
under
that's
the
good.
operating section for consultants. He has $30,000 in there for a fire department specific strategic plan that he's gonna tell you about.
Sure. Think of a strategic plan as like a detailed, structured roadmap. It's gonna make sure that department goals are in line with citizen expectations, city priorities, including commission priorities, and also available resources. And what that mostly means is, right, our financial, our income. Are we doing good with city revenue and then county revenue for EMS? It's going to make sure we have measurable objectives as far as prioritizing capital improvements, training, staffing, future emergency preparedness initiatives and activities. It takes a look at your current operational needs, and then kind of tries to project the future too. It will be a process that engages both citizens, employees, and other departments within the city. It's going to help us provide transparency and accountability and kind of set that 5-year roadmap of where we need to go. Make sure we're doing a good job and continue to do that. Help us with things like ISO, and if we ever want to become an accredited department, put us on the roadmap for that. Currently, we're an ISO 2, trying to get a 1. We're going to hear, hopefully within the next 6 months, how we did. We were very close 5 years ago, and we expect to be very close again. But, just kind of that fine tune, and also think of the timing that this is going to help right now with, if we do have changes in ad valorem, we have to try to figure out, what we do with the funding available, and also as we transition into the next phase of leadership. As my plan is to retire next July or August, so we want to make sure that we have a good roadmap going forward for the folks that take over that new direction. It does seem expensive. We did go ahead and get 3 preliminary quotes just to make sure that the budgeted number was on track. They all came in around 24 to 26,000. That's why I put 30, because now when we go out for the actual, we'll once again get 3 or 4 quotes and make sure we're getting the best value. But they all were very similar in their price. So I just think it's important for the professional department moving forward that we have a strategic roadmap in place, especially when we consider some of our more expansion priorities also.
So what's the potential net benefit of all this? I mean,
Okay.
I'll be honest with you, Chief. I've been here 6 years and you've done a fantastic job. I don't see why we need to spend $30,000 for somebody to tell us you've done a good job.
I really appreciate that. I lose sleep at night worrying that I'm doing what I need to be doing, if that makes any sense. So right now, it is a, not that it's impossible, right, but there is a balance of workload between fire chief, fire marshal, and emergency management coordinator. I want to make sure there's no huge gaps we're missing, and make sure the people we have moving up are ready to cover those also, right? I think I was lucky. I say lucky, wasn't lucky, but the track I took getting here really put me in a heavy hazmat emergency management role. So I think that was beneficial. Not everyone has that. Just to make sure we have what we need in place to, we look at Helene and heaven forbid, we went through something like that again. Just want to make sure that this city is well taken care of. It seems like a lot, 30,000. I think the benefit is once again that accountability, transparency, and those measurable objectives that we can set over the next 5 years to make sure everything's taken care of.
So how do you envision citizen engagement?
I think they would come in and ask, much like they've done, like we've done, who wants to volunteer for the charter review, who wants to do like that. Hopefully, in my point of view, you would heavily rely on business owners and then also our association managers, because those are our bigger, right, like the larger communities, where we have those high numbers of people that were affected by the storm, high numbers of people that see our daily service on fire alarms and things like that. And then, if we did want some citizens from, right, you'd want to get a representative of the single-family homes too. So that's the tough part, right, is actually reaching out and getting those volunteers to participate. They may try initially like some blanket questionnaires. And I think they do that a lot with our employees too, is that not only do they do some interviews, but they do some anonymous surveys too, just to get an overall idea. I guess what we could do also, now that you asked that question, this just popped in my head, but if we narrowed it down to a potential, what do you call that, awardee, once we did the quote process, maybe they could come in and kind of do a presentation and let you know exactly what it looks like before we fully commit to that process.
When I look at the education that you've got set up, and kind of in line with what you're saying for a strategic plan, wouldn't it be of value to, since we do raise our guys, that we try to do, they start as firefighters, and then we raise them into management positions, to spend some money there on how do you manage a group of people. They don't have those skills 90% of the time, or maybe more, I don't know, you tell me. But, to help them to make the jump from being one of the guys to being the supervisor and the HR things that go along with that, and, to keep us out of trouble, and to actually help them develop into good leaders in a succession plan.
Yeah, good point. The old buddy the boss, right? Because it is unique, right? In this field, you're good at your job of fire suppression, EMS, and then you're promoted to a supervisory role with really what could be limited experience in that. Yeah, there
A
are.
real formal kind of training
Sure,
as
sure.
opposed to just,
Yeah.
moving them up and hoping for the best and managing to it.
Well, instead of the consulting company coming in and speaking to us, didn't they, I'm sure they must have given you like a proposal that states what they're gonna do, right? So we could just look at that if you wanted to. That'd be quicker. Yeah. So we'll leave it there for right now, and then we'll, as we review it, we'll discuss it.
Yeah.
Do they have specific leadership training for firefighters?
Well, there's National Fire Academy in Emmitsburg, Maryland. That'd be one of the first things that popped in my head. Also, our advanced educational requirements, right? Having a minimum of a bachelor's degree to set for the deputy chief position, and then encouraging the 2-year degree for the lieutenant position. I think there's a lot to gain from formal education also.
I still think something more would be helpful, and help you pick the right person for the next level.
Okay.
Yeah, the National Fire Academy, believe it or not, besides the meal ticket, is free of charge. Usually what happens is the city pays up front, and then we get reimbursed from FEMA. I put that information out. It's not been taken advantage of as of yet, but we could look at some type of program or making that, of course, that is a
requirement?
well, I don't want to say that word, right, because there's a, I don't want to step in.
Aggressively encouraged.
Yeah,
There
because,
you
right,
go.
because of, right, having a labor agreement and what defines,
Yeah, just encouraged.
yeah, so, but no, I think, and here's the thing, right, it's one of those things where once you go one time and see the benefit, usually people do go back.
So this consulting, was there a timeline on it? Did I miss that?
I would want to start straight away because it's probably going to be a 6-month process.
Okay,
so-
that was it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So, once, if the budget is approved and it's October 1st, we would get the competitive bids or price quotes, right? 3 quotes minimum. But we have probably a handful of companies that we know would get us quotes pretty quick. And then,
Okay.
they have to decide whether they have folks here or they have to fly folks in, but that's all going to be part of their, the price that they put forward to us. And then they spend some time with us and then do some stuff remotely also.
If we were looking to do these next year, would it be useful to wait until after November to know a little bit more of what we're looking for in a legislative environment?
No, I would rather have them give us both scenarios, right? If we're gonna pay this much money, they should be able to map out both, with and without. You have to anticipate things. It's gonna be a 5-year plan. If it didn't happen next year, what could happen in 3 years, 4 years, 5 years? I think that's their job, is to tell us that.
I don't see it going away.
This contract, we have any loopholes that allow it to escalate above the 30,000, assuming that's the big, we found this and now we're gonna charge you more.
No, because I think it's a study. You're paying for the study, right? The process of doing the study.
Okay, so he'll send you guys a copy of what the proposals that he's gotten.
Email to us, we'll review it.
Is that acceptable to email to everyone? It's just a blanket? There's no...
Yeah, you can send it to me if you want, I'll send it out.
Again, computer consultant allocated to them. He says that the physical rate that they're being charged for their annual wellness scans is anticipated to be the same. I kept the legal fees the same as budgeted for this year for arbitration matters. their line item for accounting and auditing includes the audit, but also an allocation of our time, the finance department's time, to the fire department. I've held that steady based on the monthly amount that the previous finance director had. I don't have any basis to change it at this point in time. Custodial and janitorial is also an allocated cost from Public Works time, and also their own pest control for their building. Travel, conferences, and meetings outside of the training that shows up a little bit later on. Cable, all the communication services. He did request to add 5G for the iPads, I believe for training.
No, that's actually gonna be for this SARC-OP program that the county's buying. SARC-OP, I'm saying that right. So historically, the USAR teams, when they come in post-disaster and do search and rescue, have had this digital platform that they use, and you can track other groups' activities, what's been done, search and rescue, things like that, victim rescue. The county purchased a 1-year subscription to this that we're going to get to use, and it's going to replace the current program we use for the windshield damage assessment, and it also gives us the other opportunity in the EOC to see what the federal teams and state teams are doing in our area. We did have, after Milton, some teams show up, start doing some stuff. I don't know if they thought we were part of Treasure Island or what, but we just want to have a good handle on that, and it's going to require our folks on the tablet to enter some data that we see too, right? So it's just taking our current devices, which we've been using without connectivity. We go back and forth to the station, but now they would have that connectivity so we could do it in the field.
Okay. So then continuing down the list, postage, electricity, water, equipment rental held essentially the same except for an increase in electricity.
That was based on this year's budget to date.
Yeah. Yeah, the amount that was budgeted for this year is even less than the actual for the year before, so we know those costs are increasing. We'll revisit the insurance as I get that information. They have building, equipment, vehicle, and radio. They all have their own line item for repairs and maintenance for those activities. The building maintenance, we increased that. It's still below the actual for 25. So you just try to take the best care of your new fire station you can.
Yeah. And why it's under the actual for 25 is, don't forget, we had that would have been that AC huge replacement, correct?
I don't recall.
The one that we're currently doing?
That's in this year.
The 2025 building, did that include repairs that needed to be done based on the storms?
Most likely, yes.
Yeah, I would think.
Yeah, to be that much higher than anticipated, I would say so.
I believe that was $100,000 worth of repairs, so does that reflect that?
A lot of those FEMA, like repairs that they anticipated that were going to be submitted to FEMA would not have been recorded here. They recorded those in Fund 301 that we looked at last week.
Gotcha.
They have like equipment maintenance, hoses, ladders, leak tests, calibrations. We held that the same.
Pretty fair all the way down.
I think so, yeah. We-
You just, you wanted to move on?
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
See you later, chief.
Wait, he has EMS too. That's page 7.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna keep him a while. Okay. So that is page 7. Okay. Yeah.
This department didn't change a whole lot. Very similar activities, except for there are, I believe, six people that we consider EMS.
Yeah, we assign personnel to that budget for county purposes, and that is paid for by Pinellas County fully, and then also 75% of the deputy chief's salary as he's our EMS coordinator. That's also part of the budget. I don't know if that reflects there.
A point that I did want to make having to do with the budget for their, especially for their vehicle maintenance. In the fire department, it was a more substantial increase than EMS, but, you know, we're anticipating that we're not buying them a new fire truck, so the existing stuff might need a little bit additional work. I don't know if you even saw that. I think I increased that more than you did.
Okay, I did not.
But, I mean, I'm trying to be reasonable, so. Anything on page 7 that you guys have jumping out you want to talk about?
Good.
All right, thanks, Chief.
Is that officially it?
All right, so now, we already did community improvement. We're moving on to public works.
We don't have to listen to this guy, do we? Oh, it's perfect, I love it.
Just saying.
Glad to hear.
This is what you end up with when you forget your glasses. My punishment.
Hey, we need to take a picture of you and we're gonna have her post it. Oh my God, they're
You gotta go
darling.
trying to find somebody that has some so you can see this. That's what I ended up with.
I know, I can't,
That's typical of you. I swear to God, thank God he's not a twin. We have one to
Oh,
worry about.
yeah. One's enough. Well, my son's not
Oh,
too
my
far
God.
behind though.
Oh, I just love him.
I don't see anything in the personnel service.
And most of these are, you know, they all increased a little bit, but that's, you know, for, you know, everything else.
Computer consultant, like pretty much
But yeah.
everything else has gone up.
Not too bad. Pretty basic.
Parks, properties.
You know, my big thing is always, if we don't have to spend it, you know, we won't. You know, it's just because it's there doesn't mean we're gonna spend it.
This is just informational to me, so, I'm sorry, when I looked up your fund.
I did. You can laugh, it's okay.
I'm
It's
just
okay,
kidding.
you can laugh.
No hard time. Traffic signals, how does that work? It looks like.
Well,
we
Pinellas
pay
County
the
takes
county
care of us, yeah, they send us a invoice, and then
For traffic signals that are
Traffic
where?
signals.
No, but,
the intersections on the state road, it's weird, cause it's a state road,
yeah, it's a
but
state road,
the
the
county
county's
takes care of it,
charging
but the
us.
state pays for it, the state sends us a check, and then we pay the county. I have no
Okay,
idea,
alright.
yeah, it's,
I don't need to know all the
Yeah,
details,
yeah,
I was
no,
just
it's-
confused, and I'm still
no,
as
it's all right,
confused.
I'm still confused.
All right.
Yeah, I never figured that
It's
one out.
obvious with those glasses.
Yeah, that's,
Okay, all
So,
right.
yeah, you can't tell from this page, but there's offsetting reimbursement for,
Oh, that's how that works. Okay, so we just gotta budget it, and then eventually we'll get the money
Yeah.
back. All right, thank you. I just, wasn't clear on that.
Cause we do, the streetlights are also, I think that's in
Yeah.
another something, but yeah, like all the, Duke Energy sends us money and then, or no, Duke Energy, or the county sends us money, or
Yeah,
the state
I
sends
think
us
it- yeah,
money.
it comes-
That's what it is,
yeah,
the state
comes
sends
out
us
DOT
money and then
is
we
what
get
it says.
reimbursed
So
for.
Duke Energy charges us for the holiday decoration power, right?
Well, no, they charge us rental on all of those
outlets,
lights.
yeah.
A year, it's year round, not just when we use them.
Where's that?
That's probably in another, we might already did that one. Cause that might have been in
Was that in
Yeah.
Capitol?
no,
Here,
so
here.
like we have signs and
electricity, yeah,
streetlights.
electricity and, signs and streetlights, that's it.
Yeah, signs and
Yeah,
streetlights.
so it's in there.
Oh, okay.
They charge you by each plug you use, is that what it is?
And they maintain them and all now, so, I mean, we don't have to, before they were supposed to charge us, and they haven't for years, but they would come and repair, and then they started this, cause we got it first last year, and then I talked to Gulfport, well, they got Gulfport like 3 years ago.
So they're responding to us.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
We
they were
want.
very good, yeah,
Okay.
cause we had, I think we had like 18 of them out before, you know, we usually we go through and check them in September, into August, beginning of September, and usually in this year, there's like, I wanna say like within 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, they were done, they fixed them all. So no, they were really responsive, it was good.
Well,
Well,
unless
and-
somebody else sees something.
I don't have anything
I don't
really
got
to
anything.
point out.
Well, this was just, again, another silly question. Do we have a street cleaner? How do you clean streets?
Yeah, we have a contract. They come.
Oh, we have a
every quarter- They
contract.
come
Ah,
quarterly.
all
Yeah,
right.
every, yeah. they
I didn't
come
know if we
quarterly.
owned it or not. Okay. Nope, that was it. Everything was great. Thank you.
Again?
That was easy. Wait, hold on, no.
Wow.
No.
Rare times he comes here doesn't ask.
I never do. I try not to.
So the next page is page 9, culture and recreation. This is kind of split now with Kelly's involvement.
Okay.
So the stuff that Sean contributes to this is obviously quite a bit for the events. So that's why I asked you to stay.
Okay.
So the first line item here is senior services. I look back at last year's, you paid Meals on Wheels. It says, they sent us a letter that says they try to get 10% of the need to be paid for locally instead of having to get federal contracts and things like that. The city of South Pasadena paid that entire 10% yourself. So that's why there's such a big increase from 5,000 to 9,500. I don't know if you're intending to continue to do that.
Well, I think for this year we will.
Okay,
But when it comes to if we lose our property taxes, I don't know if we'll be able to keep doing it.
understood, yeah.
Yep.
Contributions and donations, those were the ones that you've used in the past, not necessarily that you're locked into those. I increased that slightly. I think, I'm guessing that 275 people want library cards, so that represents that cost.
I know I'm one of them.
No, the band is on hiatus, so we're not budgeting a contribution to them. And then in talking to Kelly with the other special events, she feels like that now that she's gotten a good understanding of one holiday season, she can cut some costs and kind of minimize. So that's why the springtime event has gone down. And then the thing I really wanted to point out on this page was the employee holiday party. Previously, those gift cards were in that line item, so I pulled those out and put them into people's wages instead.
For the block party, didn't we did before, get donations from vendors or, did we do that this year? Not really, because.
Oh, sponsors?
Yeah, sponsors.
We didn't because we weren't entirely sure what the event was gonna end up looking like. So we kind of took this one on our own a little bit. I think we could potentially bring that back now that I think it went really smoothly. So I think if you all would like that and are open to their tents being back out as part of it, I think we could do that again. We did
And I mean,
not
and it
this
was awesome
past year.
too with the union doing
Yeah.
the hot dogs and stuff. That was
Yeah, I
perfect.
think it went
That was
really
really
well.
good.
Yeah,
That one,
that
I
was.
thought it went very well.
Yeah.
So,
So it only ran us around 6,000 last year, or this year? Is that why it went down from 8,000 to 6,000?
And talking to Kelly, she just thinks that there are some things where she could cut some costs, I think, in the
Oh, okay.
preparation. Like, and also, I think we bought our own tents now.
Yeah, yeah. So
You know,
we
so
have.
that was an expense that we'll keep those and use those again.
So if we do get sponsorships, where would that show up?
we would still need to budget the cost.
Oh,
We would just then
knock-
also
knock
budget
it out.
revenue.
Yeah,
Contributions and
okay.
donations.
Yeah, we would budget revenue.
Okay, good.
So it's not very much, but last year we did a Halloween party. Does that just get plugged in here, or do you
Other.
not need that on
Yeah.
here? Oh,
That'll-
it's just other?
Yep, it'll be
Okay.
a part of other.
All right.
And volunteer appreciation banquet. We didn't do that anymore.
We have not. We had several years when we still had it that the turnout was so low. And honestly, because a lot of our boards and committees have stopped over the years because of low participation, it was getting harder and harder to select like a volunteer, because we don't have beautification committee anymore, we don't have a P&Z board anymore.
And
It's-
the art, or the arts
Yeah, we're not
downstairs,
doing
because
art
that was.
spring right now because we
Yeah.
don't have the room. Like it's gotten difficult.
Do we even need that 200 in there then?
Well, possibly not. Possibly not. I would like to use it this year. I'm going to be talking with Kelly about doing some recognition for the Charter Review Committee members. I've pulled some things. I'd like to invite them to your August commission meeting if they could come in the evening so that we can thank them publicly. I've got some plans to recognize them.
But this
so-
year you got 1,400 budgeted, so you got enough. This year you got 1,400.
Yeah, so I just want for this year.
Yeah.
So for next year, I don't think so.
Is there anything coming up that with volunteers we're gonna need next year? We don't really have a lot of volunteers. do
We don't really utilize a lot of
We used
volunteers.
we used to have somebody that did the library, we had people that did
Mm-hmm.
Probably
Take that
not.
out.
Yeah.
Do you want me to move it to other special activities or keep that 6,000 there?
I just leave the 6,000.
Okay. Well, and then I'm not sure whether or not the tree lighting and boat parade are posted under boat parade or if some of it's in special activities. But she and I have talked about that, and she's very organized the way that she's tracked all of your events. So I think that we'll have a really good understanding of where the money is going and needed. So
In the boat parade, we're one of the sponsors. Is the city a sponsor? Oh, we're the sponsor.
We are
Oh,
the
'cause it is
sponsor.
South Pasadena Boat
That's
Parade.
how much we spend
with Marine.
of our money.
The bulk of that is for the prizes.
It's prizes.
It's,
Right, yeah,
you know,
the
the
prize
winners.
Yeah, the rest of our costs are relatively low, with, you know, some advertising and refreshments out there, but it's really the prizes.
Well, and I don't know if that now, I mean, I guess now is the time that makes sense to talk about it. So the winners of the boat parade got a substantial amount of money, and they got, like, the participants all got gas cards. Like, you want to approach it, as far as planning for right now for budgeting purposes, we'll approach it that same way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I know the ones that do come, the gas card's a big hit, you know, I know, I mean, they like that, that's a, you know, just for that chance to win.
People to come out and
Mm-hmm. And also, I spoke to a couple of the people that are doing the St. Pete Beach when they're doing it. I think on the 11th this year, we're still probably right around whatever, that 3rd or 4th, that first Friday. Is that,
So we've been doing the second Friday in December, which this year would be the 11th.
the 11th? I'll have to check with that, well, because I know I think that's what they're doing, but I think they're doing a Saturday, they might be the 12th.
I was gonna say,
which-
we moved to Friday to not
No,
conflict
no,
with
actually,
anybody.
I will double check, but I
So,
know, because I
If
think
they
they.
moved to Friday, I'm gonna get real frustrated.
Yeah,
'cause
no,
we've already
actually, no,
moved.
I think that was
to
my fault. I think
accommodate
because
them.
they're gonna actually have a bands and a party and stuff, so they're not gonna do that on a Friday.
Yeah.
I believe it was the
Okay.
12th. And that will also, they're also take, you know, their people, their registration boaters, I'll get a copy of those, so we'll be able to send those out too, because
Okay.
if they're gonna do both, you might as well.
Yeah, you might as well,
Especially
yeah.
a day apart.
Yeah.
So that'll be a good hit. But yeah, I'm pretty sure, yeah, that was the 12th, not the 11th.
Okay,
But I will nail that one down, but hopefully it is the 12th.
Okay. And then I'll update, the last page is interfund transfers. Once we get everything sorted out, figure out how much we'll need to supplement into the capital improvement fund, that's where that'll show up.
Nice.
All right.
Do you sleep at night now?
Not quite yet. Not quite yet. So I'll come back next week. I'll give you the analysis of what it would have looked like to just increase 4% versus making the changes from the salary survey with the 4%. It's premature, but we're going to talk about the sewer fund and the reclaimed fund next week. I say premature because we just got this past week emails from the Public Works Department in St. Pete. I think that they're gonna have a webinar in like early July.
Yeah, I think it was, the second week of July, just,
To talk about setting their rates. So we can kind of project, I can tell you what our use has been, and that's kind of how we're gonna approach that and for the time being.
Our usage probably is down based on all the large buildings that are not occupied.
yeah, it's down a little bit.
Just a little?
Okay, is there anything else that you want to see from me for next week, or that sounds like a good enough plan?
sounds good.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Thank you.
And I think Tom has something he wants to go over.
Oh, yeah, thank you for reminding me, I forgot already. I attended the Florida League of Cities Board of Directors meeting this past weekend down in Manalapan, call it West Palm. I don't even know what Manalapan is, but it's a town down there. Anyway, outside of regular board business, the discussion obviously turned to the ad valorem taxes. And the feeling is there's gonna be a legal challenge to this before it gets to the ballot. Eric Hartwell, the general counsel of Florida League, says there's some opinion that just the title itself is flawed legally. the Save Our Homes from Excessive Taxation. And then the other component being that once you move to Florida, you have to wait 5 years to realize the full benefit of the massively increased homestead exemption, which is viewed as unconstitutional. I'll defer to our attorney on that on any of these matters. But anyway, the board was asked to and granted authority for the league to join and/or initiate a lawsuit about the potential changes. And we appropriated $1.5 million towards that effort from the league money. So the league is, Eric said, basically run the clock out. Because you can probably help me. There's time frames. Once they go to court and appeal, it goes back to the legislature. They have so much time. But then they're up against the clock of, I want to say, September 28th, that supervisor of elections have to have their ballots either mailed or printed. So there's a narrow window for this to get ping-ponged back in between the courts. So it may or may not happen, may or may not be on the ballot. We may be on the ballot in a completely different form than we're talking right now. It's all very much up in the air. So I just wanted to share with you that I know nothing.
Well,
That's helpful.
if it doesn't get on the ballot, it'll just give them more time to take it over instead of 24 hours.
Well, but then again, the Form 6 thing that caused mass exodus of city commissions, the court killed that and it's not come back yet. So, sometimes I just wonder if they didn't create if our attorney at League of Cities says the title's potentially flawed in the way it addresses, I'm sure the attorneys with the legislature are equally as intelligent, you would think. So it just leads me to think, maybe I've watched
All
too
that
many.
came up
maybe
during
I've
a
watched too many
discussion, and they wouldn't do
conspiracy-
anything about it. They didn't do anything about it.
Well, yeah, maybe I've watched too many conspiracy movies, but maybe they
motions
say,
made
let's just
to
pass this through
change
and
the
then the
title.
courts kill it, and then we can say we
Yeah.
tried to do it.
Yeah,
It was shocking.
it
to
happens.
me.
I know.
It happens.
I mean,
It was
it's,
shocking to see the list of legislators that went for this. Shocking. And so writing to them, which I did,
well, I'm
and very
busy, though.
pointedly, in my style, if you can imagine, ripping their faces off, to find out that, basically, they're scared to death of the governor,
Yeah.
that he's going to block their appropriations. How legal is that? I mean, it's ridiculous. And, if you had enough of them stand up to it, but they didn't. They all caved.
Well, that's what happened to
And-
Kathleen Peters when she was up there. She went against the
Yeah,
tribe.
I know,
And they
but
blocked it,
it's
took
just
away everything
really
from it.
scary that everything is so right down the line, and that they're so afraid of their careers and their abilities to, really help their
Top down.
constituents, because their constituents are not, if they really understood it, not gonna be for this at all.
Well, the thing is, the league is committed to, whatever happens, let's assume there's a provision that actually makes it to the ballot. The league is committed to a lot of education. I mean,
Public
if you're on
education.
Facebook
thank
right now,
God for them.
everybody's like, oh, well, just quit spending money and wasting money. Well, sit at this table for 6 years and tell me we're wasting money.
And it's all about the communication, really, because you tell the average person, you're not gonna have to pay property taxes. I mean, they think,
Yeah, who doesn't like that?
I think that's great, because I pay a lot of
Right,
property
who
taxes.
doesn't like that?
And, it just really is terrible.
Nothing
I mean,
good
do you
for
want
free,
cheap cell
though,
subscription services for fire coverage?
Yeah.
You buy fire coverage for your house, but the guy next door doesn't, so, I
Right.
mean, I know
No,
that
I-
can't happen.
Yeah, they can't do
but
that.
It's the reality is,
Yeah.
they're looking at,
Yep.
I know.
it's
Well,
not a tax cut,
really,
it's a tax shift, let's
kudos
face
to
it.
the league for
Let's face it.
doing what they're doing.
It is a power grab. It's another, it's the, as you all know, I've been very involved in the legislature since I joined this commission. And every year, it's the mother of all preemptions. Well, this is the mother of mothers of all preemptions, what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
So,
I do think there's an interesting equal protection challenge to that. If you've been here for 5 years.
Yeah.
So your 4th year of owning a home here, you're not eligible for increased homestead exemption on what account, on what
Right.
base?
Yeah.
So that's gonna be an interesting challenge.
Yeah.
I think it has teeth.
yeah, good. So, that's all I got. Just wanted to
Okay.
share that with you.
Thank you for
Thank
what
you.
you did.
Well,
I just wanted to keep you guys opinion real quick. So I brought this home with me from the Future of the Regions Awards.
Wall in your
If you
office.
guys were there,
Oh,
remember?
nice.
So, yeah, did we want it in City Hall or the fire station?
It's up to you guys.
I'd like to know how you're gonna put it anywhere.
Yeah, there's nothing
Because
on the
you
back
gotta
to
glue
attach
it to
it,
the
but
wall.
yeah.
Gorilla Glue.
You have to buy those little
Those
tabs
little,
that go on
like,
the back.
things,
Yeah.
Put it in a frame.
We could also frame it.
Fire
Yeah.
station, because that's a permanent building.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
don't have to worry about
Yeah.
If you're
moving
gonna
it.
glue it, you might as well glue it over there.
Yeah, take that
Yeah.
bug on the wall down.
Get that thing off there. No, I would think the fire station.
It makes
is
sense, I
more
mean,
permanent
yeah.
building.
And however you want them out, frame,
Yeah,
whatever.
whatever you want. I think fire station.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There you
Thank
go.
I have a quick update also. So Vice Mayor, you had asked recently about some changes, legislative changes related to municipalities' ability to
Who's there?
address derelict boats.
Right.
So we spoke with, I say we, chief, reach out to the sheriff's office, basically to find out what they knew about it. And, you know, obviously they work with a lot of different municipalities. Is anyone actually acting on this? What is, you know, is it worth pursuing? It sounds like their mindset is, they're not aware of any cities that are pursuing their own internal ordinances to try to address derelict boats, partly because even if you do that, that whole process has to go up through the state. So whatever you do, it's an arduous process for the state to get their approval to make sure that you can even make those changes. And in their mind, it does not necessarily improve their ability to do much of anything if you were to do that. So they
it's a
aren't
law
aware of
without
any
any
city, yeah.
Okay.
They're not aware of anyone doing anything, and they said, we don't really see the point, but if you'd like to, let us know, but it doesn't seem like that's something that they recommend pursuing, so,
Thank you.
just wanted to let
So
you
they
know.
finally grant us authority that has no authority.
Correct.
Okay, just
Yeah,
like-
it's
Okay.
it's really what it is, yeah,
There you
it's, oh, you
go.
can pass an ordinance, but you have to send it to us first to approve it, and it really can't have much more authority than we already give you. So,
I'm sorry, this is
Yeah.
ridiculous.
so they're like, you can do it if you want,
Yeah.
but,
We create a mooring field.
yeah, so,
You gotta do that in the state too, right?
yeah,
Yeah, that's right, anything. The
Yep.
state owns all the water.
Put
Yep.
it in and then,
yep,
Okay, well,
yep. I just wanted to let you know, cause you
thanks for
asked the
that humorous,
question.
thanks for that
Sorry,
humorous aside.
I know, it's not a great answer, but it is the answer we got.
It's a not surprising answer.
It's not
Unfortunate.
I know, it's not surprising, but yeah, so, that's that.
anybody else? No? All right, I guess we're adjourned. Thank you.
Good night.
Yeah.